Get ready because the winter of 2025 to 2026 is shaping up to be one for the history books. I've been looking at the long-range models and the data is pointing towards something truly extraordinary. We are not just talking about a few extra snow days or a slightly colder season. We are looking at the potential for a winter that our children and grandchildren will talk about for years to come. The patterns forming in the atmosphere are signaling a season of intense, cold, powerful storms, and yes, heaps and heaps of snow. It's the kind of forecast that gets a meteorologist's heart racing, a mix of excitement for the sheer power of nature and a deep sense of responsibility to make sure everyone is prepared for what's ahead. This is not the time to be complacent, it's time to start paying very close attention. The whispers are growing louder in the meteorological community. We're seeing a convergence of factors that rarely align so perfectly. Think of it as a perfect storm brewing on a global scale, with all the ingredients coming together to create a winter masterpiece of epic proportions. From the temperatures in the Pacific Ocean to the behavior of the jet stream, every signal is flashing bright red. This isn't just a hunch. It's based on sophisticated computer models and historical data that show us when these conditions combine. The result is almost always a blockbuster winter for large parts of the country. You've probably heard the term polar vortex on the news before, and it often sounds like something out of a disaster movie. But what is it really? Let's break it down in simple terms. Imagine a giant swirling area of very cold air that sits high up in the atmosphere over the North Pole. Think of it like a spinning top, but one made of frigid, dense air. During most of the winter, this vortex is strong and stable, held in place by a powerful ribbon of wind called the jet stream. This jet stream acts like a fence, keeping all that intensely cold Arctic air locked up far to the north where it belongs. It's a normal and essential part of our planet's climate system. The real trouble begins when that polar vortex weakens or gets disrupted. When the vortex is strong, the spinning is tight and fast, and the cold air stays contained. But sometimes, things can happen in the atmosphere that knock it off balance, making it wobble like a spinning top that's about to fall over. This wobble can cause the vortex to stretch and break apart. Instead of one tight circle of cold air over the pole, we get several lobes or pieces of that frigid air that can break off and travel south. It's this southern plunge of Arctic air that brings the bone-chilling temperatures we often associate with the term polar vortex. It's not a storm itself, but the engine that fuels extreme cold snaps. So why does this matter for the upcoming winter of 2025 to 2026? So, we have a wobbly polar vortex on the horizon, ready to send down blasts of Arctic air, but cold air alone doesn't guarantee snow. You need moisture for that. This is where the second major piece of our forecast puzzle comes into play, the ocean temperatures. Specifically, we are watching the development of a moderate La Nina pattern in the Pacific Ocean. La Nina is a climate pattern characterized by cooler than average sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern tropical Pacific. This might sound far away, but its effects ripple across the globe. They have a huge influence on our weather here in the United States, especially during the winter months. A La Nina pattern typically alters the path of the jet stream over North America. For the winter of 2025 to 2026, we expect it to steer the jet stream to create a very active storm track. This path tends to pull cold, dry air down from Canada. It allows moisture-rich air to stream up from the Gulf of Mexico. It also allows moisture-rich air to stream up from the Atlantic Ocean. This collision zone is exactly where big storms form. The La Nina-influenced jet stream acts like a conveyor belt. It directs one storm system after another across the central and eastern parts of the country. It's the perfect setup for frequent and significant snowfall events, turning a cold winter into an exceptionally snowy one. When you combine the effects of a disrupted polar vortex with a La Nina pattern, you get a powerful 1-2 punch. The polar vortex provides the sustained, bitter cold needed for precipitation to fall as snow and stick around. The La Nina pattern energizes the storm track, providing the moisture and the lift in the atmosphere needed for heavy precipitation. It's the ultimate recipe for a blockbuster winter. One pattern delivers the refrigeration, the other delivers the moisture. With all these atmospheric ingredients coming together, the big question is, who is in the bullseye? While winter will be colder and snowier than average across much of the country, our forecast models highlight several regions likely to bear the brunt. The primary storm track puts the Midwest and Great Lakes in the crosshairs. Chicago should prepare for a very long, snowy winter. Milwaukee should prepare for a very long, snowy winter. Detroit should prepare for a very long, snowy winter. Cleveland should prepare for a very long, snowy winter. Frequent Alberta clippers diving south from Canada, followed by larger, more powerful systems tracking up from the south. The Northeast and New England are poised for a heavy-hitting winter. States from Pennsylvania up through Maine are primed for major nor'easters. New York City is in a prime position for nor'easters. Philadelphia is in a prime position for nor'easters. Boston is in a prime position for nor'easters. Storm track curving up the eastern seaboard, systems tapping abundant moisture from the unusually warm Atlantic, combining with frigid air plunging south. Expect high winds, expect coastal flooding, expect snowfall measured in feet, not inches. Residents in this corridor should prepare for multiple significant storms. Mountainous regions can't be forgotten. Colorado, Utah, Wyoming likely to see heavy mountain snow. Great news for ski resorts, but treacherous travel through passes. The Pacific Northwest could see more frequent lowland snow. Seattle and Portland could be surprised. A winter with historic snowfall doesn't just change the scenery, it fundamentally alters the rhythm of our daily lives. The most immediate and widespread impact is on transportation. Heavy snow can bring cities to a standstill. Highways become impassable, flights are grounded for days, buses face significant delays, trains face significant delays. The simple act of commuting to work can become a monumental challenge. City and state road crews will be working around the clock, but with frequent heavy storms, it will be a constant battle to keep the main arteries clear, let alone residential streets. Schools are another major part of life that will be profoundly affected. We can expect to see a record number of snow days across the hardest hit regions. While kids might celebrate the unexpected vacation, it can create a major headache for parents who need to arrange childcare or work from home. School districts will face the tough decision of when to close, balancing student safety against the need to meet educational requirements for the year. Beyond work and school, our entire daily routine is forced to adapt. A simple trip to the grocery store requires careful planning and a vehicle that can handle snowy roads. The risk of power outages increases dramatically, as heavy snow and ice can weigh down power lines and tree branches, leading to widespread blackouts that can last for days in the bitter cold. When the forecast calls for a major winter storm, safety has to be your #1 priority. The most important rule: stay informed and stay off the roads. Pay attention to local weather forecasts. Listen to emergency officials. When they say avoid travel, they mean it. Roads can become dangerous, fast, slick ice and low visibility. If you must drive, equip your vehicle for winter. Check your tires, check your battery, check your fluid levels. Keep a winter survival kit in your car. Blankets, a flashlight, water, snacks, and a portable phone charger. Preparing your home before the storm hits. Ensure your heating system works properly. Have a safe indoor backup heat source. Never use a charcoal grill or a gas generator inside. Carbon monoxide is deadly. To prevent frozen pipes, let your faucets drip slowly with cold water and open the cabinet doors under your sinks. Stock up on at least 3 days' worth of supplies, non-perishable food, drinking water, and prescription medications. By taking these simple precautions, you and your family stay safe, warm, and healthy throughout the storm. While a historic winter brings its share of challenges, it also presents a fantastic opportunity to embrace the season and have some fun. Once the storm has passed and it's safe to go outside, the world is transformed into a giant playground. The most classic winter activity, of course, is sledding. Find a safe, gentle hill in a local park or your own backyard, a sled, a toboggan, or even a piece of cardboard. It's joy for all ages. It's an activity that brings pure joy to people of all ages and is a perfect way to burn off some of that cooped-up energy. Building a snowman or creating a snow fort, a snowy landscape also opens up a world of winter sports. This could be the perfect winter to try cross-country skiing or snowshoeing. Many parks and nature trails become ideal for these activities. Ice skating is another wonderful option if your community has a safe, frozen pond or an outdoor rink. These activities allow you to see the winter world from a whole new, magical perspective. Don't underestimate the simple pleasure of a winter walk. The air is crisp and clean, and the scenery is absolutely breathtaking. It's a perfect time for photography. Bundle up warmly, grab a thermos of hot chocolate, and take a stroll with your family or a friend. It's a chance to slow down, disconnect from screens, and appreciate the incredible beauty. This peaceful side of winter is just as memorable as its powerful fury. The fun doesn't have to stop when you come back inside. While the winter of 2025 to 2026 is poised to be historic, it's not the first time our nation has faced extreme cold and snow. One of the most legendary winters was the Great Blizzard of '88. That's 1888, not 1988. This monster nor'easter slammed the East Coast in March. Chesapeake Bay, Maine, 20 to 60 inches of snow, snowdrifts over 50 feet high, houses and trains completely buried. Fast forward nearly a century, winter of 1977 to 78. Relentless cold and devastating storms. The blizzard of '78 battered New England. These storms tested the limits of our infrastructure. Changes followed, crews burying utility lines and upgrades to better withstand winter. They led to better forecasting and improved emergency response. The term polar vortex became a household name during 2013 to 14. A major vortex disruption sent Arctic air sweeping the Midwest. Siberia, Chicago colder than the South Pole. These stories aren't meant to scare us, but to prepare us. Lessons learned, preparation. Infrastructure upgrades and community response make us more resilient. Looking ahead to 2025 to 26, we can draw strength from the past. With proper planning and awareness, and by working together, we can weather whatever the season throws at us. We will emerge with stories for generations to come. As we transition from fall into the early days of winter, the forecast will begin to come into sharper focus. The long-range signals we're seeing now will evolve into more specific, actionable weather predictions. So what should you be watching for? Pay close attention to the temperature patterns in the Arctic and the behavior of the jet stream. When you hear meteorologists start talking about sudden stratospheric warming events over the North Pole, that's a major red flag. This phenomenon is a key trigger for disrupting the polar vortex, and it's often the first sign that a lobe of frigid air is about to break off and head south. This is the precursor to the deep freezes we are anticipating. Keep an eye on the storm track as the first few systems of the season begin to develop. Where are they forming, and where are they going? If we start to see storms tracking from the Central Plains and then curving up toward the Great Lakes or the Northeast, that's a confirmation of the La Nina-influenced pattern we expect. Also, watch the intensity of these early season storms. If they are rapidly strengthening and producing significant precipitation, it's a strong indicator the atmospheric ingredients are in place. For the powerful storms we've been forecasting for the heart of the winter, these initial storms are like the opening act for the main event. This is also the time to make your final preparations. Don't wait until the first blizzard warning is issued to get ready. Use the calmer days of late fall to put together your home and car emergency kits. Test your snowblower, check your shovels, seal drafts, and have a family plan. Make it a habit to check the forecast daily. Technology gives us more lead time than ever before. The winter of 2025 to 2026 has all the makings of a truly historic season. The watch is on. Brace yourself.